Long before Lapu-Lapu raised a kampalon, before Rizal ever held a pen, there was a man. Not a warrior, not a poet, but a clue, a jawbone found deep inside a cave on the western edge of Palawan. It didn't come with flags or fanfare. It came with silence, mystery, and time. His name isn't even real, just a label from the place he was found. But what Tabon Man represents is powerful. The beginning of the Filipino story, written not in ink, but in bone. In 1962, Dr. Robert Fox and his team from the National Museum of the Philippines uncovered something buried beneath 8 feet of cave sediment in Palawan. A fragment of a skullcap, a jawbone, and some teeth. These weren't random bones, they were ancient. Dated between 16,000 to 22,000 years old, they belonged to one of the oldest Homo sapiens found in Southeast Asia. Alongside the bones were flake tools, charcoal, and signs of ancient habitation. Together, they told a quiet but powerful story of survival, of intelligence, of belonging. These weren't just bones, they were witnesses to time. We call him Tabon Man, but that's just a name. The truth is, scientists can't say for sure if these bones belonged to a man or a woman. They don't even come from a single skeleton. Multiple fragments were found from different individuals, possibly spanning thousands of years. But for the sake of identity, Tabon Man stuck. Whoever they were, they walked through a different Philippines, one untouched by cities or colonizers. They fished, hunted, crafted tools. They built fires in the belly of caves, passed on knowledge without writing, and lived close to the land. They were Filipino, not by passport, but by presence. The Tabon Caves aren't just a single hole in the rock. They're a complex of over 200 caves, with only a few even explored. Archaeologists have found layers of human history, stacked like pages in a book. Stone tools, burial jars, pigments, even possible signs of ritual. These caves tell us something few places in the world can. That humans have been calling the Philippines home for tens of thousands of years. When we say we're Filipino, we often start with 1521. But the Tabon Caves say, we began long before that. This isn't just a tourist site, it's a time machine. Modern genetic studies show that Filipinos carry DNA from multiple ancient migration waves. Some came from mainland Asia, others from Austronesian seafarers. But there's a deep, older layer, what researchers call basal Southeast Asian, and it links back to people like Tabon Man. We're not just defined by what colonizers brought, we're shaped by what came before they arrived. The blood in our veins isn't imported, it's inherited. Every time someone tells you Filipino culture began with Spanish friars or American teachers, remember this. We were already here. Already thriving, already enough. Ask most students where Filipino history begins, and they'll say Magellan. Maybe Lapu-Lapu if they're lucky. But what about the 40,000 years before them? Why aren't our earliest ancestors in the textbooks? Why aren't their names on the streets? Colonization didn't just take our land, it took our starting line. But now we have a chance to change that. To teach our kids that we didn't just arrive when ships docked, we've been standing here since before the maps were drawn. Tabon Man didn't write a book, but he still told us a story. We just have to be willing to listen to the bones. Tabon Man wasn't trying to be remembered. He didn't build statues or cities. He left no epic poems. Just fragments. Pieces of a puzzle buried in time. But somehow, that's enough. Because in those bones, we see something powerful. We were always here. The Filipino identity isn't something that started with ink or government or churches. It started with footsteps in the mud, with sparks from stone tools, with stories told around cave fires. We don't need to borrow our beginnings. We have our own. And it started in a cave, with a name we gave later, but a presence that shaped forever.